Hey everybody, welcome back to Mildcore Gaming and our playthrough of Shadowrun Hong Kong. I am Yemmer, I am bad at video games. I make mistakes so you don't have to. If that's what you're into, please like, subscribe, follow, share, all that fun stuff. We put out new videos every day. And here we are back on the Kraken. We have renamed our safe boat, not safe house, from the bolt hole because I kept not saying it correctly. I kept saying butthole. So we've named it the Kraken. And we have a whole list of jobs to do. So we're going to get going on those. Now we have an option to get some rest, but I'm not going to do that because every time we go get some rest, we have the nightmares. So I'm going to try and do as many missions as I can, get these done, because in between each mission, we can talk to all the vendors and the people, and it's progressing stories that way as well. So I'm trying to do all the little side missions. I'm trying to hold off the main missions. The main mission right now, I believe, is this one here. Kindly Chang's friend. We've met them. Okay, my cat is messing around with everything. Is hiding behind my monitor, so hopefully nothing gets disconnected. So yeah, we've got, what is this, 1 2 3 4 5 jobs to do, so we're gonna go ahead and work on those. So we're gonna go to the mission computer right now. I don't think we have any new messages. I think we already did this. I don't think we have any pending. Yes, we have active jobs. Hold on. There we go. Jobs directory. All active jobs. So yeah, artifact liberation, serial killer, attending party, urgent task, and restaurant job. What was the... I think we're going to kind of do them in order. Artifact liberation was one of the first ones we got, so we're going to do that one. Anything on the BBS? I don't think... Yep. Yeah. So we've already talked to everybody, done everything. So we're going to head back. No, we don't need to go down the hatch. We're going to go to the waterfront here. And where is... Oh yeah, it's back over here. We have to go all the way back over here. Why is my screen scroll so slow? Okay. And I figured out the Alt button, which highlights anything interactable that we can see. So that'll come in handy. I'm going to go to the MTR station. Okay. Well, we could do the Whampoa Garden to discover who's killing the elders. That's a fairly recent one. You know, it'll help Maximum Law, but he's a decker. We really don't have much to do with that. But it's at the top of the list, so we'll do that. We're going to change it. We're going to go do the Whampoa Gardens and discover who's killing the Whampoan elders. Alright, and we're going to definitely take our decker. And I'm a rigger, so we don't need to take Ractor. We're taking Duncan, because he's our boy. Okay. Joan, rigger, Brent. Oh, X-Flow. Okay, cool. So people we've met have become Shadowrunners, like X-Flow. We met her, or them. El Duce? I don't know if we met him. But I know X-Flow. And I think, oh, k1ller. He's another one we found. Okay, a street samurai searching Hong Kong for evidence used in his personal vendetta against Shiwaze Corporation. Okay, that's fine, but we're taking Gobbet because they're free. Alright, here we go. Gonna head to Whampoa Garden. Outsider. Whampoa Garden, a carnival of chrome and neon, rife with every manner of technology and artifice one can imagine. The entire area has a feel of a night market, save that the chips are sold in lieu of steamed buns, and vendors hawk the latest drones rather than folk art. Something stalks these streets, hiding just out of sight. It stalks the Whampoan elders, the leaders of the band of tech-savvy squatters that have claimed this neighborhood as their own. The streets smell of ozone and fear, and those Whampoans are you pass in the MTR station have a haunted, furtive look in their eye. While the killer has struck only at the elders thus far, it may only be a matter of time before the ordinary residents are menaced as well. Alright. Let's see here. Okay. This is me. I'm good. Now, who is this? This is Isabel. She carries a pistol. And it's a sliver gun. But we've got this funky, weird one. But she's already got a better sliver gun. Let's see. We have an extra med pack. Who should get it? Okay, Duncan's only got his assault rifle. We'll give him the pistol as well. He's already got med packs. Oh, we'll give it to Gobbet here. She doesn't have any. So, alright, here we go. I think, yeah, that was it. And I'm full stocked up on health. Alright, here we go. The streets of Whampoa Garden are slick with rain, glittering on the neon glow of myriad signs and holographic displays. The sky reflects the same glow, painting the white apartment blocks the sickly orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meat mingles with the other rarer scents, ozone, engine oil, and high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of street vendors and touts, urging people into their stores. Isabel wrinkles her nose, scowling darkly. She wraps her arms tightly around her chest, staring off into the distance. Is there a word for feeling nostalgic for a place you can't wait to leave again? I don't miss this place, but I miss the feelings I had when I lived here. Suadad, maybe? Isabel shakes her head. No, that's not it. It's close, but... She lets the sentence trail off into nothingness, clamping her mouth shut for a moment. Isabel sighs heavily. This place seemed like heaven after the walled city, like the whole world had unfurled in front of me, and anywhere I turned there was a promise of a good life. Turned out this place was just as crappy as everywhere else. Everyone was still in it for themselves. Gobbet claps a hand on Isabel's shoulder, who flinches and pulls away. That's a great life lesson, I'm serious. At the end of the day, life's a raw deal. You've got yourself and a handful of friends, and that's it. Nothing else. Duncan casts a sidelong glance at Isabel and Gobbet, shaking his head. You got some strange ideas about life. Sure, life's a meat grinder, but come on. There's got to be more to life than just surviving. Does there? What makes you the authority on that? Isabel waves a dismissive hand. I'm done talking about this anyway. Isabel turns toward you and points down the street to your left. We're looking for their Whampoan elders. They're going to be in the Whampoa itself. It's the big ship down the street. It's the mall shaped like a boat, right? Isabel nods, lips pursed. That's the one. Somebody thought it would be clever to make a uniquely shaped mall. Okay. Let's see here. I love the visuals of this. I love all the neon. It just looks super cool to me. Like this. This is just, beauty. Beautiful. Let's see. Is there anybody to talk to? I don't see anybody. What do we got over here? Anything? Huh. You better find someplace indoors to sleep, Jan. The streets are dangerous lately. Little ambient dialogues going on. Got a little street vendor here. That's cool. Okay. Might be coming around here later. Hey, everybody. The elders don't want anyone to go inside without their permission. It must be pretty bad in there. What do we have in here? Alright. Nothing going on. Alright, let's go to the Whampoa. Oh, there's somebody you obviously have to talk to. We will be over there in a moment. Gonna check other things out here. Doesn't look like there's anything I can interact with. I think if I get close to these guys, it's probably going to activate. But let's see here. Let's... Okay, nope. But it looks like it's not going to let me talk to anybody or do anything until I talk to them. So, alright, here we go. Oh, and I figured out how to quick save. Haha. Reading instructions is surprisingly helpful. Alright, this is Elder... I don't know how to pronounce this. I've seen it... Eng? Eng? Is it NG? It's just Eng? So yeah. Again, I do it every... I'm going to say it every time. I apologize for destroying names and the English language. I'm not educated enough for that, and I mess it up, so I apologize. So any names I destroy, it's not intentional, it's just my own ignorance. The Orc Woman is festooned with small circuits, tiny Tri-D screens, and speakers. The Tri-D screens display snippets of Tri-D broadcasts from every corner of the world. The tiny speakers play counterpoint with a susurrus of voices speaking Speranthiel, Punjabi, Kazakh, and other languages. Her expression is haggard, and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. Susurrus. Susurrus? I've never heard that word before. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look that up later. If you know what it means, throw it in make it lazy for me and just say it in the chat. Elder Ning. Welcome to the Whampoa, my friend. I am Elder Ning, and these are Elders Tang and Ip. Ning gestures to the elf and human, who each incline their heads respectfully. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We had nowhere else to turn. It's the least I could do. Under Tang's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move into dragons. We are under threat. One by one, we elders are being hunted by some monster. As you may have noticed when you arrived, there's been another killing just tonight. Oh, no, we didn't notice. Ip crosses his solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surface, displaying diagnostic information about their state. Operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minutiae. He looks past you towards Isabel. The prodigal daughter returned once more. I didn't expect to see you back aboard the Whampoa in my lifetime, Isabel. When you disappeared, Elder Yetunde was very put out. I'm glad you're still alive. When you chose to walk your own path, I was disappointed, but I still understand why you had to leave. Ip pauses, tasting the air as he chooses his next words with care. I hope my lessons have helped you prosper. Didn't expect to be back either. Work takes you places, though. Isabel shrugs. A moment later, she places a hand on her pistol, eyes trained on Ip's shoes. I don't cart this around for fun, Ip. The lessons kept me alive. Isabel blinks several times, then looks up at Ning, her expression clouded. Where is Yetunde anyway? I expect her to be here. Ning shakes her head sadly. She reaches out a hand toward Isabel, who shrinks away from it. She's dead. So are Gon and Nakamura. And Tong was killed just tonight. So much blood. You have to stop this from continuing. Isabel's expression remains impassive, but her knuckles grow white as her hands ball up into fists. That's what we're here for. We'll stop the killings. Thank you, Isabel. Ing lifts a hand, wiping away tears from her eyes. Okay, let's just go down the list here. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. The first to go was Gan. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. Ing swallows, grimacing at the painful memory. He'd been torn apart. His head had been ripped completely off, and most of his skin flayed away. There was so much blood it took us a week to clean out his apartment. Tang nods, running his palm over his forehead. The rest have been the same. Always at night, always dismembered, each scene like a nightmare. And every time, nobody has seen anything. It's like a ghost. What happened to Tong? The same thing that happened to the rest of the victims. Evisceration and dismemberment. We sent a guard to help keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He locked up his shop, but Ib stopped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked, and inside, Ing lifts her hands helplessly. She opens her mouth, but no words come out of it. Seeing Ing's inability to continue, Ip takes over. Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like all the other murders. It had to have happened after sundown because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Why didn't you call the police? The Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They've tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to pin a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and triads. Handle their matrix security, fix up their gear, and make sure they have access to Hong Kong Shadowlands hub. We're too valuable a resource for them to lose, so they protect us when the HKPF or anyone else decides we're an easy target. They handle our physical security and we make sure to send the message via the matrix. The last time the HKPF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the Tri-D. They got the picture and backed off. Have you made any enemies lately? Ing shrugs helplessly. Not that I can think of. We keep to ourselves. We buy and sell technology. We're not mercenaries or criminals. We're merchants and deckers. And even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery, it's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too, and just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. What do the Wampoan elders do? Isabel snots derisively. They make the rules and kick people out who don't obey them. They're a bunch of petty tyrants, that's what. You're being unfair, Isabel. Our laws are for the good of the community. Tang turns to address you. We keep the Wampoa and its residents safe. We review trade agreements with outsiders to see if they're good for the community. We provide a guiding vision, like a town council. Okay, I'm going to say I can respect that. I'm glad you understand. The community is fragile, and the authorities bear us a lot of ill will. A single misstep could spell our end. I am the invoker of spirits. I commune with the spirits of machines, ask them for blessings, and pass those blessings on to the people here. I heal the sick and ensure the feng shui of our habitat is as good as can be, given our confines. She's a shaman, that's all. She's just got some kooky spin on it. Claims her totem is some kind of all-encompassing machine god that lives in circuitry. Isabel pats her deck, looking at Ing. Ancient gods and ancestors are one thing. My deck, it's mine. I built it. The only spirits it's got in it are the ESPs I loaded up with. Ing gives Isabel a look of deep sadness. Just because you cannot see or touch a thing does not mean that it does not exist. Just because you do not believe in it does not mean it does not protect you from afar. I can't touch programs either, but at least I can prove they have an effect on the physical world. Your superstitions are just that. Bullshit. Isabel glanced at you, jerking a thumb towards Tang. This guy treats drones like they're living things. Is that right? Tang extends his arms, palms up. As you watch, the tattoos therein shift into a complex mathematical formula. I am the first and glorious servo. I study patterns, repair machinery, and teach others to attune themselves to the wonders of automation. The blessed Autofab is my shop and purview, where we make the drones we use and sell. Ooh, talking my language there. I'm a rigger. As for me, I serve the resplendent voltage spike. Ip smiles crookedly. That means I shoot people who try to screw with us. It's a fancy title for head of security. Alright, that's all for now. It might be wise to ask the residents of Whampoa Garden if they've seen or heard anything after you've gone to Tong's Sensory Carnival. They may have seen or heard things we have not. Good to know. Okay. A lot of these. Okay, can we... Nope, still nothing to talk to or do in here. Can we talk to them again? What happens if we do that? Nope, that's it. Gotta go. Alright. That was a lot of dialogue, so we're going to save. Cannot save. I'm not in this conversation. There we go. I guess we're just heading out. We'll head back out. Do our investigation. Okay, we can go in now. Porter Lamb, at your service. The elders told me that you'd be coming. They tell you what happened to Tong? Just the basics. Well, nothing's basic about this. I've seen people shot, stabbed, beaten to death. Hell, I've even seen a corpse that was so dry and desiccated I could have sworn a vampire got to it. But none of that's got anything on this. Brace yourself and go on in. Okay, here we go. Tong's Century Carnival looks like a scene out of a B-grade slasher film. The cloying scent of incense hangs thick and pungent in the air, emanating from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover up the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the ragged remnants of Elder Tong littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order, at least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you're about to step further into a room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tong's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread about the walls and ceiling as well. Alright. Let's take a look at his body. Tong's body is a ruined mess. The destroyed ruin of his face is barely recognizable, and what's left of his body would be best described as savaged. All of his limbs have been torn off, and a pile of flayed skin lies next to the remnants of the Whampoan elder. The Whampoan's clothing has all been reduced to rags and tissues by cuts and tears, apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body into a semblance of a human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Gaba puts a hand over her mouth, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Sweet heaven, Yemmer. I haven't seen anything like this since Auntie Wong tried to stash some cred sticks in a devil rat's nest. It takes a lot to turn my stomach, but we're sure have a winner today. This is seriously messed up. I'll second that. This isn't a murder. This is more like, I don't know, a feeding frenzy. If it weren't for the skin, I'd say Tong stepped on a goddamn mine or something. Okay, I don't have any biotech, and I don't have spell casting, but Gobbet does, so we'll have Gobbet sense the body. You're the boss. Man, this is going to be unpleasant. Gobbet closes her eyes, taking a deep breath. After a moment, she opens them again and makes a strange grunting noise. There's no fear here, Yemmer. No anger either. Just this kind of satisfied feeling. Tong never saw it coming, and whoever did it was professional about it. which is pretty odd because nobody's professional about eviscerating a body, as far as I know. Do you think it was a hit? I don't know why the killer was after Tong, but he definitely wasn't any kind of mindless creature or even someone particularly passionate. It was somebody who planned this and executed it and was glad about it. I don't know. It kind of feels like it was just business as usual. And I can't do any of that, so we're going to leave the body alone. Let's see here. Bloody wall. The walls are covered in splattered and smeared blood, most of which has hardened to crusty, congealed paste. Thick tracks of it run laterally. It looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey, Yermer. I don't know what a whole lot about science or all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits a wall. This isn't natural. Somebody deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it's got paint trails? That's because somebody used Tong's parts like a brush. So they painted his walls with blood. Why? Do I look like a psychologist to you? Maybe because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of those sick serial killers that sees their murders as art. I got no clue. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Some people have a bad grasp of art. I knew this guy in Kwantung who used to make music out of stray radio static and panic button calls. Called it Crisis Wave. It was awful. Okay. So let's check the door here. Let's see. We got a fan or a desk safe. Tong's desk drawers are open, and the safe that's built into one side has been opened. There's no sign of tampering, and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any money on them. Looks like someone looted his stash. A guy like this wouldn't keep only empty cred sticks in a safe. This is a Yamaha 95000V SimSynth, a device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty and all the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning, requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. Okay, we don't have decking, but we got Isabel here. That's why we always bring a decker with us to debug it. Isabel rattles out some commands on the SimSense keyboard, stepping away after a few seconds with a look of satisfaction on her face. There. I put the drive warning on suspend. It's in diagnostic mode only, though. Maybe it will learn something, maybe not. Yamaha Sim OS 5.23 system diagnostic check. Memory, okay. Drive, error. Assist bus, okay. Beginning core dump, please wait. The long debug spew that scrolls along the synth screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play links, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's SimSynth has been hacked to remove the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning. The required operation to make BTL chips. The delta wave outputs for these chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. The file catalog for the high-peak BTLs indicates all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives and whatever was in the empty chip jacks. Somebody cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. Okay. I think there was one more. Bathroom. Tong's bathroom is immaculate, and the drains are tiny. Whatever killed him didn't exit through here. Okay, so somebody stole his money and the SimSense stuff. Go and save. Can we talk to Porter Lamb again? Hey there, need something else? Let's see. What do you do around here, Porter? It's a catch-all category, I guess. I work for Elder Ip. It's a bit like being a deputy. I make sure people don't break the rules. Protect people who need protecting. Mostly, I just do whatever IP asks me to. It's a pretty quiet job most days. Today's not one of those days. I also handle a lot of maintenance. I don't actually do the repairs, but I've got most of the keys. It makes it easy to ensure only authorized people get into sensitive places. Electricity goes down, I let in the electrician who fixes the wiring. Toilet's clogged, I let in the drone guy who opens it back up. It looks like somebody went through Tong's things. Has anyone else been inside? Not since I've been here, but before Ip found him? Could have been anybody, really. Ip had a key to his place, but the lock's total crap. Anybody half decent at cracking maglock could have gotten inside. What's missing? His BTLs, hard drives, and cred sticks are all missing. Sounds like the killer looted his place to me. All this talk of monsters, yeah, sure, there are scary things that go bump in the night, but most of the scary bumps I hear are from handguns and gangers. Alright, see you later. Okay. Oh, hey, wait. We got people who can talk to now. Who's this guy? Let's go talk to Zippy. This orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it out towards you. Hey, stranger. Nice to see you. Zippy Toe Tag at your service. How are you liking Whampoa Garden? Zippy Toe Tag? Toe Tag? Really? Alright. I'm Yemmer. Nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you, too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to just say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures expansively at the squalid, neon-lit streets of Whampoa Garden. This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gan and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So since I don't know you, and I can smell a Shadowrunner a mile away, you've got to be the outsider they asked to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Very astute, that's right. See, I have good eyes. A lot of good eyes, actually. If you're in the market for replacements. Only slightly used, and they only come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty belly laugh erupts from the orc, and he slaps one of his thighs in elation. Man, I kill myself. Oh, wow. Okay, pretty funny. You stand-up comedian? With jokes like that? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other Whampoans healthy. Got to practice down the road. Blind Chan's a pretty good cyberdoc, but he's basically an implant specialist, and that's it. How'd you end up here? I did my residency back at the UCAS. Could have become a real MD, too, if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. He pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than I see. Whampoa Garden seemed like a good fit for me. You must have a lot of customers. That's the chip truth. I have to charge to cover my costs and eat, but it's damn near free service. There's always a waiting list, but it's good, honest work. I like helping my neighbors and the community. We all look out for each other. Somebody messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is rare as gold these days. How many places have an ethos like us? Not the damn corpse, that's for sure. I lived a lot of places, done my fair share of shadow running, but this place is special. It's been a long time since I felt like anywhere was a real home. Zippy looks past you, towards the Whampoa Garden streets. His expression grows wistful, like he's remembering something from a long time ago. I'm sure I'll move again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. So, is it fairly peaceful around here? For the most part. Other than these killings, we don't have much by way of problems. We do information security for the triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit them in the matrix while our triad friends hit them in the meat space. Some small-time gangs have tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tang and his guys, but with both the Red Dragon and Yellow Lotus. They got the message real quick. What was left of them, anyway. Let me ask about Whampoa Garden. Sure thing. What do you want to know? What are your thoughts on the murders? There's a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gan died from a broken neck. Looked like someone had wrenched it around and his arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by someone with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was the devil rat, but the teeth marks are all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at Yatunde. From what I saw at distance, it was the same story. Didn't seem much point, since I had seen it twice already. As for Tong, from what Porter told me, it was Gan and Nakamura all over again. You take a look at him yet? Yeah, it's the same as you described for the others. Zippy shakes his head sadly. Damn, I like Tong. The BTL business is unsavory, but the man had to eat, and his regular sims were great. Generally all-around nice guy. Friendly with everyone, never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell you. What can you tell me about the elders? Zippy laughed, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? Eclectic bunch. Ing's the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Whampoans, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more followers, since she's something of a priest for the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here, but it's never called to me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Ip's the muscle and has his encyclopedic knowledge of cyber and BioWare. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get a lot of cyber. People start wondering if you'll tear their arms off. Zippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3, The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but great fight choreography. What about Tang? I don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. Found him cooing over some trideeds of automated delivery drones in a warehouse once. He works with drones, has a shop called the Blessed Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement of patterns or something. You already know about Tong. Ran sims, BTLs, skill chips. Gan used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. Zippy pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment. Tri-D mostly. Spent a lot of time analyzing subliminals in ads. Then there was Magpie. Wait, who's Magpie? She was the chief decker. Hot as hell against ice and built her own hardware. Salty old woman, though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. She was mad most of the time. Yeah. Wait, nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago she just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of pain in the ass, too. She owed me some new Analyze software she'd picked up. I've never heard of Magpie either. She must be one of the newer Whampoans. If she was the Decker, she would have replaced Elder Gao. No surprise there. Gao was older than Shinwandi's Terracotta Warriors. When I was learning decking from him, he could barely get out of bed. Still fast as hell in the Matrix, though. How can you be new and an elder? Isabel rolls her eyes. It's a stupid name. It doesn't actually have much to do with time spent in the community. That has something to do with it, sure, but it's mostly about how skilled you are, how good your connections are, and how much you can help everybody else. Should have called them experts or something. Bingo! That's exactly it. She was only here for about 3 years, but she knew a lot of people all over the Matrix, in Shanghai, in Beijing, all kinds of places. That, plus her skill, meant she was a shoo-in when Gao died. Why would she disappear? No idea. One day she was here, the next, poof. At first I thought she was just on vacation, since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday. But it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems highly suspicious to me. Nobody else seems to care what happened to her, probably because she pissed them all off so bad. Is there any place you think I should start looking? You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the other elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. Even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason to not let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had the grand vision for what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her matrix chops. The last big argument was between her and Ing, Ip, and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate tri-D business into the Matrix, and she just absolutely refused. Why did she refuse? She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there to this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean blocking them? Everyone needs her matrix skills for their businesses to run properly. There are other deckers, say, or Mo Janebi, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. She's a real hardhead about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot, if you ask me. Sounds like she was critical. Yes and no. She was, but since she disappeared, Elder Ip's taken over running the Matrix infrastructure. He's not as good as she was, but his experience with the drones makes him the best candidate. They wouldn't entrust something like that to anyone who wasn't an elder, so there you go. See you later, Zippy. Okay, I guess... Is that all? Nope, that's it. That's all we got. Get the key for the shop. Where do we get the key for the shop? Probably back with the elders. So let's go get that from the elders. Oh, we can talk to people in here now. Is there anything we can do for you, Ymer? Why didn't you tell me about Elder Magpie disappearing? Why would we have? Her departure from the Wampoans isn't related to your investigation. It happened before the killings began. I'm certain she's off sulking somewhere. Ing's tone is profoundly indifferent. No doubt she'll come waltzing back next month, all full of attitude that life dared to go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back. Despite our problems with her behavior, her skills make her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance of our Matrix infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down until she returns. I'd like to take a look around her shop. Do you have the key? Yes, but there's a lot of sensitive equipment in there, including our community servers. We don't let anyone who's not one of the Wampoan elders in there. Why would you need to look around there? Oh man, I gotta get, I have to put some into charisma. I guess I don't really need to go in there. I'll be going now. Darn it. Okay, yeah, I need decking. We can talk to all these people now. Actually, hold on. I need some water. Okay, here we go. This is Wing Kai Kwok, I think. Wing Kai Kwok. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Kwok Atelier, home of the finest clothing in Wampoa Garden. I am the owner, Master Tailor King Wing Kai Kwok. How may I serve you today? I didn't expect Wampoa Garden to have a tailor's in it. Many people don't. There's a mistaken impression that we Wampans are only interested in technology and the Matrix. But even technologists need clothing, don't they? And many of us gravitate toward lines of work where added protection is required. I myself is a materialist scientist, as well as a keen follower of fashion trends. What kind of material science? Fiber related, of course, primarily aramid fibers, graphene composites, and dilettantes. It affords me a certain unique perspective when designing clothing that is not only beautiful, but defensive as well. I specialize in high fashion body armor, similar to the kind crafted by Securitech or Vashon Island, but with much more personal touch. Show me what you got. Okay. Lined with rigid plates, this duster has handy attachment points for cabling to use with decks or drone control kits. Securitech. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I did not want... No, get rid of that. I was just looking. What do we have right... What are we wearing right now? We're wearing... I don't know. Can't tell. What are we wearing? We have... cargo carrier. So we've got 3 armor. So it's basically the same thing as what she's selling. Let me look again real quick. Yeah, this is all 3 armor. To get up to 4 armor, we need another few $100. Huh. Nope. Don't need the armor right now. Goodbye. Let's... Who's up here? This woman sports brilliantly hued hair that shifts colors, scintillating with every passing moment. She is powerfully built, a natural athlete, or someone who works out a great deal. Notably, a large shotgun rests on an arcade cabinet next to her. She affords you a short glance as you approach. When she speaks, you note a peculiarly lyrical accent to her voice. Something I can help you with there, friend? You're throwing me off me game, and I'm trying to beat my best score. That's some interesting hair you have. Well, it sure isn't the reason they call... Well, sure isn't it the reason they call me Rainbow? Rainbow Smite. She kicks one foot towards the shotgun laying against the cabinet. That shooter's why there's also a smite. After a few moments, Rainbow's game is suddenly over. Her tank obliterated by a barrage of air-to-ground missiles. She hisses her breath and through clenched teeth. Piss on your ma. A right robbery that was. Right then. Rainbow shakes her head again and turns to face you fully. You don't seem like them Wampoans. They're all a mite touched, yeah? Maybe you are too, but you don't advise it like you don't advertise it like they do. What's your story? I'm looking into the murders that have been happening. Oh, that's some nasty work. Bodies hacked up, chunks spitting out of them. Make sure you're loaded for something big and ugly, that's for certain. Where are you from? I can't place the accent. Born and raised in Dublin, down on the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of my early life there. Working security on sacred spaces, historical sites or undeveloped land. The green movement was big in those days. It was a bit like being a park ranger, but sure didn't it beat some dead-end desk job. Spent a lot of time around County Dublin and Wicklow. I always loved animals, and I found it being a ranger just put me in close with them. It was a good time, yeah? Making sure the budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset the ecology of Wicklow National Park much. Also kept the nastier bits like the usage from running amok across populated areas. In each usage, isn't that a demon horse? Aye, that's right. They're cannibal horses, basically. Nasty buggers that drag people into bogs and drown you. Sometimes people call them kelpies on account of the water plants they pop out of. Anyway, as I was saying, problem was I started to develop this wee knack, just a small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the paracritters get real feisty, yeah? To make things worse, this was around the time Liam O'Connor threw his coup and formed Tir na Nog. With all his fancy talk about elves and ancient magic, 'twas a bit scandalous to have a woman guarding ancient sites that wasn't just mundane, but also killed magic around her. So I got fired. You're older than Tir na Nog? Bang on. And I don't look a day over 25, do I? Rainbow flexes one arm, grinning widely. Aye, I'm Irish, not one of them noggins. Pack of punchers, a lot of them. Always going on about their ancestral lands and the glory of the past and all that bullshit. I saw them kick dozens of old Irish families off their land just because their ears weren't pointy enough, or they didn't meet some stupid arbitrary criteria of old nobility. It was just that kind of thing that brought back the IRA, just like the bad old days of the Troubles. The skeevers in the new tier don't pay for the land they took. They just hand a pack of bullies with guns. Rainbow scrunches up her face into a disgusted sneer and mock spits on the ground. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They offered to pay for my help, so I said yes. Simple as that. So you became a terrorist. Phew, don't be so dramatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of kit I've got in me now, in exchange for going overseas to work for him. Smuggling, running guns, making contracts in Europe. Some kind of shite all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how me own fam got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. I still do work for him these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady Day cracked down on dissidents, but good. What are you doing in Wampoa Garden? Me? I'm a bit of a big game hunter these days. I get into strange places, look for some kind of paracritter I've not seen before, then I put a bullet in it. Only the nasty ones, though. No point in hunting a talus cat or such. It's only things like gargoyles, barghest, and whatnot. All the work I did with them in my youth does a good job of keeping me alive. I was out in Jakarta last year hunting one of them Indonesian vampires. You ever heard of them? Call them layak or penanggalans, depending on who you ask. Their heads and guts come out of the body cavity, and they fly around like a giant messy pile of pasta. Rainbow bares her teeth and pantomimes floating around. Took me a solid 2 months to track her down, but I did it. Once the job was done, I asked myself, okay, Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the k1llers here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you'd usually find in a city. Been spending a lot of time down in the storm drains these days. I heard rumors of a rat king down there, where a whole mess of devil rats get all tied together into some kind of big, awful rat beast. Haven't tracked it down yet, but I figure it's only a matter of time, yeah? She pats the barrel of her shotgun affectionately. See you later, Rainbow. Okay. And then we got somebody over here. We're going to save after that nice big dialogue. Who's this? Who's this? Min Vong. The owner of this shop barely looks from his PDA while greeting you. His tone is one of immense boredom. Welcome to Min Vong Matrix Materials, aka MVMM. What can I get you? Show me what you have for sale. Drones. Okay, Doberman Mark II. And a Drug Mule 1. That's out of my league. Alright. See you later. Alright, let's head back out. Let's head back out. Oh, wait. Somebody over here to talk to. Who's this? This man has a tired, world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, in the lines about his eyes perhaps, make you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts his cup of cheap soy calf as you approach. Demergo. Let me guess. You're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. That's right. Who are you? Call me Demergo. I'm one of the Wampoans. Oh, I'm not one of the Wampoans. But I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. Demergo drains the last of his soy calf in a large gulp. So, what have you found so far? Yeah, you're awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their thaumaturgical research division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. Demergo tosses the soy calf cup towards a nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and rolls inside. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know? So why aren't you investigating it? Elder Ing asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. Demergo shudders, folding his arms across his chest. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck, pleading in the voice of a dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days, I'd rather interrogate the living, thanks. That sounds awful. Awful? It's more than awful. It's a goddamn nightmare is what it is. One I couldn't wake up from for a long time. Sometimes you have to cut and run, start fresh. At least now I can pick my own jobs. I can read objects. It's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. Don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it. Who owned it. How it killed someone. If someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told Ing I didn't want any part of this. You want advice? I'll give you that. But I'm not getting drawn in further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? Let's see here. What can you tell me about the Wampoans? I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not much of a tech nut as they are. I'm just the crazy mage that lives down the road. Demergo pauses and looks off into the distance as he collects his thoughts. Ip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. He doesn't seem to set much policy. Ing is a shaman that worships machine parts, spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum, if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source is fine by me, but don't ask me to believe in great spirit of electronics. As for everybody else, they tend to be an okay bunch. A bit strange, but that's fringe culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own autofab shops. Their stuff's pretty high quality, too. People from all over Asia come to shop here, if they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. What do you know about the murders? They started a couple weeks ago. Elder Gan was the first to go. That's when Ing asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it sure didn't care about it being a clean death. Demergo lowers his voice, leaning in toward you so only you can hear. The funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that, maybe about a month ago, tops. I know that doesn't seem like much, but the Wampoans don't usually let police in here. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear, too. Big guns and heavy armor with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampoans chased them away. Okay, that's weird. Why would they let cops in, then chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and what the elders refused to answer when I asked. Demergo shrugs. Go take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out, though. A gang's taking up residence in there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent, but you don't push them. But be careful what you say. Tong wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. Demergo arches an eyebrow. That's not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess at each scene, the victims should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, so the astral signature hasn't had time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. But it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have that kind of resonance, in my experience. It's possible the gore is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. Demergo closes his eyes and starts to nod. Yeah, if I wanted to kill somebody and get away with it, I'd try to point the finger at some kind of monster. Demergo opens his eyes and smiles a thin, humorless grin. Basic Investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. You think the mess wasn't incidental? It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it, in my experience. It tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. See you later. Okay, after that. Alright. Save the game. Alright, and we're actually going to be right back, everybody.